Hi everyone and welcome back to our Python programming series. So today we are going to learn about defining function in Python. So functions are the crucial part of programming as they help us organize our code, make it usable, improve readability. First of all, let us explain what is a function. So a function is a block of code that performs a specific task. So you can think of it as a mini program that can call whenever you need it. The function allows us to encapsulate logic and make your code cleaner. So you can see, first of all, see here the basic syntax of defining a Python in program. So you can write here this state and creating the symbol of the function name. And this insert include, here is a parameter, okay, and also in this next line and in this insert just export the executive, and then also here I'm using the return statement, the result. Okay, so you can see here I'm using this, the tip keyword to define a function and followed by the function name. The parameter is parenthesis inside this. Parentheses can specify the parameter, and with an input to function, then the code block is indented under the function's definition and can here be officially use this. Okay, so now today I'm using the first example for a simple function without parameters. So now here is the define a simple function that reads a gradient. Okay. So now just remove the first of all, I'm defining the state, then type for a grade in this function, and we're using this without this interlock message. So you can see here, first of all, I'm using the double quotations and this insert and the type the message for hello and then type this welcome. Okay, so welcome to the Python. Okay, so just Python program. Sorry, I just typed pro. Okay, so progra can my program. Okay, I'm using this symbol and also going and just calling the function. You can see this simple and this example is define the function here. Create a welcoming message and we'll call the function using this. Read the function is execute the code instead it. And this is a basic function without any parameter. Okay, so now let's see the output here. And you can see here is the perfectly printed message for hello and welcome to the Python program. Okay, it's done. The next topic is we're creating this function with parameter. So just create a function that may add a text parameter to calculate the area of rupture. Okay. And now just remove this and all code and first again define the state of the variable name and this type for calculate area. This inside include the true variable is the length and the second type is for the width. Okay. Also, just next line, I'm declaring this area is equal to creating equation, name and multiplication sign for in this way. Now I'm using this just type for the return statement in that area. Okay, so now I'm just calling the function. So using this result is equal to. So just I'm going to calculate the including the 5 and 3, and I'm just using this frame function and then I'm printing here the message. So first of all, I'm type the area is a rectangle and this insert I'm including here the symbol of the result. Okay, so you can see this function is calculate the area that takes the two parameters. First one length and second for the width. And inside this function, this will calculate the area by multiply those two values, then return the result. Then for when is call is calculate area for here for 5 and 3, it compute the area and print it out. Okay, so now let's run the code and see the result. So you can see here the result of the area of rectangle is a picture. Okay, perfectly working. And now I'm using this. Another example for function wait default parameter. Final example, this creative function wait default parameter to create user. And this way is the node name is provided. I will use it. Okay, so now let's create this example, and you can see here to remove forward in this all code. Again, find this function D and then type 4. Here is a grade. So those things that I'm including here, the name is the parameter is a guest. Okay, so just in perfectly type is in guest, and also in this next line here I'm defining for this simple print function, and now I use it a primitive output for, first of all, I'm printing for hello, and this inside including here is the name parameter, then type for another message. So first of all, I type welcome to the Python program. Okay, so just don't type for here is the Python in this the program. Okay, and also in this next line here I define is calling the function. So first of all, I'm type for here. So you can see first I'm using this create user is the for the default parameter. Next time you again type for here is great user. This instance that I'm including person is a Rohan. Okay, so you can see this example in this function for the great user has a default parameter. The name set is to guest, and going just to call the create user without an argument is use the default value. However, if we call it with a name like great user like Johan and it's overrated, you call it great for the Johan industry. Okay, so now let's save this code and see the output. And as you can see here, posted a printing call guest welcome to the Python program, and next on here the hello zone to the welcome to the Python program. Okay, so now here is completely done. This is tutorial